Rango sits. Bruce sits. Right up. Vamos. So it actually rained last night, first time in over 6 months. So a little greener up here today. Lucy, Rango. And still feeling great. It's amazing how little I eat, but feel amazing. I really have no hunger pains at all anymore, and just a bit of fruit and some salad every day, and that's it. I feel really good. So I was going to talk about, sexuality, vitality, and what it all really is and what it means. I'm no expert or pro, but what I've learned so far. And well, first of all, with this diet and fasting, of course it gets the blood really clean and really moving. And of course, when it comes to male sexuality, that's kind of important. And yeah, you can really feel it. Not right away, but like now, it's I kind of feel like how I did when I was in my teens. It's a lot of activity going on. But what I've realized over my life is that I had sex all wrong, and it actually is really important. But hey, guess what? Our culture totally lied to us again, and everything you ever heard is a lie. Yeah, same with sex. Basically, in our sort of culture, I guess you could say, and of course, what's the root of culture? Cult. Sort of our brainwashing, our mind programming, is, which of course they start doing as soon as we're little kids, little babies, when we don't know what's going on. Yeah, so in our cult, basically for men especially, how we think about sex, there's sort of numerous ways we're sort of told to think about it. One is to be kind of like the whole religion ashamed of it, which is totally wrong. And then a little bit is, hey, no. And then the other side is what we're sort of told on the television programming all the time, and movies, and everything in our cult is about you know, beer and drinks and casual sex and girls in bikinis and all this kind of stuff. And that stuff's totally wrong too, because I've done that. I did that for like 20 years, and it's led me to nowhere but even being more unhappy. So what they don't tell you is that actually is really important. That actually is like an energy that is actually our most powerful energy. Is the power of creation. Judy, sits. But we're never taught any of this, and we're also, you know, some of the ancient Chinese people know this, and still some today, but very few. Most real good information's been hidden or lost. But every time you ejaculate, for example, you're actually losing part of your life force. And no one tells you this. And many guys will know this. After you ejaculate, you're pretty much exhausted. If you're older, you might even need like a day to recover or more. And that's because we're not actually supposed to actually release that. Supposedly, according to what I've been reading, we're only supposed to release it if we want to actually create a new human being. There's some trains of thought that even say you don't even need to release it to create a new human being. It's such a spiritual level event. But I'm not sure about that. And of course, there's no scientific evidence to back any of this, because no government will ever allow, or fund at least, the study of these things. So we got to do it all on our own, basically. So if there's people out there actually who do like science, like real science though, like real actual trying to figure out what's right or what works, what doesn't, what's right or wrong. Yeah, you're gonna have to fund your own stuff, or maybe even try crowdfunding. That's a good idea. But yeah, anything that actually tries to figure out things that are gonna help people will never be funded by the traditional government or establishment. Scientism. It's a religion. How else do you explain these people call themselves science believers first of all, and then they're like, yeah, so the Big Bang, that's totally scientific and real. Oh yeah, so what happened? Well, there was nothing, and then there's a big explosion, and then there's everything. But I'm not into religion or having these beliefs. It's like, yeah, you are, just as much as anybody, because that's crazy. That makes no sense whatsoever. Oh, and there was nothing behind it. It just happened. There's no reason. Well, energy and numbers and math equations, sure. Well, we've picked out the exact number of billions of years. We know exactly. Anyway, ignore those people. They're massively demented. Or try to help them out. You know, they're not necessarily evil. They're just been totally lied to their whole lives. So, getting back to sex. First of all, like I said, with the fasting and the diet, like, this should be, everyone, it seems to be a big issue, this, what do they call it? Erectile Dysfunction, ED, I think they call it. Which it seems to be like hundreds of millions or billions of people seem to have this. And it seems clear to me, one of the main reasons, I'll get to the other main reason, one of the main reasons is just your diet and your blood. If your blood's not flowing, that thing's not going to get flowing. But it's actually fine if a lot of people's stuff isn't working, because they've probably got sex all wrong anyway. And it's probably good that they do what I did and spend quite a bit of time looking into this and trying to figure out what is actually right or wrong. And it turns out that, yeah, basically, we should be trying to retain our seed, so to speak. Should be almost never ejaculating for our own health. And then as far as thinking about sex, casual sex, for example, which I've had so much of, and never made me happy, and I never knew why. I go, oh, it says on the TV and the movies that I should be super happy. I've got the dream life. I'm traveling the world, sleeping with thousands of girls. Why am I not happy? Well, because that's all a lie. I'm not saying some casual sex isn't necessarily like a good thing. It might be, but it's your intention, it's your consciousness about it that's important, and realizing that. And here's something I've been reading about, and I've actually never felt yet, but I'm starting to get into, is that apparently, see, this is how screwed up I've been, and how lied to I've been, and how I fell for it all. So a total fool, you could say, my entire life about it, is I just thought that having sex with as many girls as possible was great. But I've never really, I don't think, ever really made love. It sounds crazy, I know, but I've been lied to. And this leads me to another point about pornography. Oh, and there's also this movement out now that's I got into quite a bit, and it makes a ton of sense, called the no-fap movement. And basically it's don't look at porn and don't masturbate ever again. And it makes total sense. There's some people claim it gives them almost godlike powers, which is sort of what I'm talking about. If you can retain your, I'm talking to guys here, I don't know how it works for girls. If you can retain your creative life source, you can, just like with meditation, just like with this fasting and all this kind of stuff, you can attain new levels of peace and love and feel like I've just started feeling these things in the last couple of weeks. And they're amazing. Like, I felt it last night. Just felt just so good. Like, it's like a drug, like but a good drug, like, because it's like you don't wake up the next day and feel crappy. You wake up the next day and feel good again. But like more than good, like even more than a lot of those drugs. Like, I've done almost everything, ecstasy and all that. And yeah, there's certain moments on those things that you're like, I've never felt better than this in my entire life. But what I'm starting to learn is you can feel like that all the time, or at least regularly, without any of that stuff if you do the right things. And a big part of it is sex. And getting to porn, you know, that whole, I think it was in the Bible or something. There's a lot of truthful stuff in the Bible. So there's a lot of truth in there. Something about if you do something, if you masturbate too much or something, you'll go blind. It's totally true. And what it meant, see, it's all hidden in these metaphors. And I guess I wasn't smart enough to figure it out until now. But yeah, if you look at enough porn, if you have enough sex, you basically, nothing interests you anymore. So you're essentially blind sexually. And I almost got to that point. I've stopped now. I never masturbate. I try to never look at porn. It is difficult. Sort of, you know, they talk about these porn addictions. Totally true. I think most people have it. And it's totally killing them. If I could tell younger guys out there a few things that would have saved me hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, and decades of feeling pretty crappy, it's don't look at porn, don't masturbate. If you're going to, well, of course you have this sexual energy. Oh, that's something else I'll talk about, is how to control your sexual energy. But try to find a partner, and maybe even more than one, but like not thousands, I don't think. Try to find real loving relationships. Like actually feel love while you're having sex if you can. I know girls do this all the time. For guys, we're not really taught about this sort of stuff, or why it's even good. And we have the sexual energy, so we get confused a lot. But for younger guys, don't ever look at porn. Like my son's 12 now. I'm waiting till the right moment to tell him all this. I think it's going to be pretty soon, probably in the next year or two. Definitely in the next year or two. Never look at that stuff. Find a girlfriend if you want. And, you know, if you fall in love with her, that's even better. And, yeah, then make love to her. And that is so much better. From what I can tell, I've never done that part yet. I'm working on that part. I'm in, like, recovery from so many things. But you can... that's so much better. And also, I wasted decades just drinking and going to bars because that's where it seemed easiest to meet girls who were open to having sex. But in hindsight, oh man, what a total waste of time, total waste of money, total waste of my body, because alcohol is so bad for you. I'm learning all about that now too. So yeah, hopefully I can teach my son, hopefully I can teach a lot of people. Turn off the porn, look up NoFap. Get into it. You actually, you know, I think for whatever reason you could say it's Satan, satanic things, evil. I'm starting to think evil is not exactly what we're told as well. It's sort of like a human condition that can happen if we don't follow the truth. And that's, I think, what's going on. Anyway, I'm still working out my thoughts on that. But yeah, don't masturbate, don't look at porn. Then it comes to, because I remember how I was when I was younger, and I'm almost feeling it again now that I'm doing this diet and fasting and meditation and yoga, all this. I had a massive amount of sexual energy, and so I didn't know any other way to live. Like I just couldn't function unless I would release that sexual energy numerous times per day. But no one taught me, no one told me that you can actually control that energy and you can actually use it to massively improve everything about your life and yourself by channeling that energy up. Because that's basically sort of like I'm just learning all this stuff, I don't know if it's your root chakra, there's another chakra, basically your genital region chakra. So that's a very low base level, and you want to get up to the very top, the crown chakra. You want to get up to the third eye, crown chakra, and then you have like amazing stuff. And I'm not there yet, but I've had glimpses of it, and it is amazing. And so yeah, you got to learn to do that. And so there's a lot of there's a book called The Multi-Orgasmic Man that I've been reading, and there's things called Tantra is another word for these sort of things. You learn to channel these things, and you can actually get to the point with enough practice, and I've been practicing, and I've gotten to that point where I can have orgasms without ejaculating, which means I can continue just to have sex if I want, and still retain my life force and still just be full of energy. So this is something massive, actually, I think, that hardly anyone knows about. So that's why when I started talking about how what I've learned about fasting and diet totally helps your sexual ability, your blood flow. But I don't necessarily want a ton of people just to know that. I want them to actually understand what I've started to understand about how we should be thinking about sex and what we should be doing with that energy, because we're wasting it all, basically. And that's what, I think the system wants, the matrix, whatever you want to call it. So that's, what most people are doing. There's, seems like everyone watches porn now, and it's just everywhere, and it's just like all free. Like, I don't even know how it's free, but it is. You know, think about that, right? Because the government will clamp down, right, on if you put like a music, like a U2 song or something on your website, you have like the FBI at your door for intellectual property theft. But if people are putting out free porn, like on Pornhub or whatever, just non-stop, that's no problem. I wonder why that is. I think they want us to be like that. Want us to all confused, selling us all these products, of course, things like Viagra, Cialis. That's a billion-dollar industry based on this. And then want us just never to actually find out about our own true power. Because if we did, we'd be like, well, screw the government, we don't need any of this, or want it. And I've never needed or wanted, but a lot of people still have that culture belief in, you know, it's a superstition, it's a religion. You know, they're in a cult. They still have that. And the reason that people can't get out of it is because they're so disconnected to themselves. They have no idea about anything I just talked about. They're just running around buying stuff, trying to be happy, when you don't need anything. It's kind of funny, you know, for me personally, that I worked a lot my whole life, and I like work. I like what I do. If it wasn't a passion what I do, I wouldn't do it. But I do work really hard. And over times in my life, and I've been rich and poor so many times, but it's kind of funny for me to find out after all these years, and now I can make lots of money if I want. It's pretty easy because I've been doing it for decades, that I don't really need any money. Like, just, it's good to have, like, it gives you opportunities. Like, if I wanted to go to Iran, which I do, and I wanted to maybe, you know, talk about what's going on there, for what I do, my passion of sort of waking people up, that perhaps Iran is not the most evil country in the world, perhaps it's the US, but you know, I have the money to do that, so that's good. And also I have a family and they want stuff. I'm still trying to teach them about all this stuff. It's very Mexican still, you know, just trying to tell my wife not to tell the kids to put on sunscreen the other day, you know, is a whole issue. Like, she doesn't get access to this information, so they still want stuff, and they need stuff, you know, they need some food and stuff, even though I try to tell my wife that really we could just grow it all, and all they need is we could just grow in our house. So really, we don't need anything. But, you know, it's good to have some money or whatever. But it's just funny for me to find out after all these years that really you don't need anything. Everything, like all the things I was searching for, all outside of me, right? Even sexually, I was searching for girls, you know, like outside of me. Actually, I could have, like, I'm almost getting to the point now where I can pretty much just almost have orgasms when I want to and not ejaculate and still feel amazing and actually channel that energy up to where it comes almost like a spiritual sort of thing without even needing women. Although it's good though, because I think it is, you know, I'm looking forward to trying this the next few years, trying to make love, trying to reach that sort of level of, you know, feel that. I've never felt it. I hear it's true. Say it. Here comes the guy. So, just always got to pick up this guy. He's always the problem. So a guy just walked by, and as long as I grab him, everything's fine. But if I don't grab him, he'll start barking, then everyone will start barking. And then it's chaos. But I've finally figured out the problem, and it's this guy. He looks so innocent. No, not innocent at all. Troublemaker. So anyway, I have actually a ton more thoughts on this stuff, but I'm still working on the thoughts. These are all like new concepts and ideas, and it's all very exciting to me that I personally discovered. You know, I was so unhappy for years or decades, looking and trying to find something that would make me happy, you know, to always be temporarily. But there's everything to sort of almost reach like a level of bliss is all inside of me. I just have to figure out how to, you know, do it. So that's exciting to me. And that's why I think I'm doing all these videos all the time. I got all this energy. See, it's all related. Like I talked about how I have all this energy from fasting and all that. Well, it's also from not ejaculating. That's, you know, I look back at how much of that I did in my life, and that's all your chi energy. And there's some trains of thought that you can never get that back. I hope that's not totally true, but I'm still got some anyway, so I'll try to not lose that chi energy anywhere near how I did in the past. And like I said, I'm just feeling amazing. So look up all these things. Look up the Multi-Orgasmic Man book. Look into things like Tantra. You know, all these things are very interesting. Look into no fap for the guys out there. If you are watching porn fairly regularly and masturbating, you don't realize what kind of damage you're doing to yourself in almost every single way. You're losing your life force. You're desensitizing yourself. So when you do have sex with a girl, you're going to be far less interested. And you know, you even go down the path of even, you know, it just gets worse and worse from there. So turn that off. Some people have a really hard time doing it. I did it first as well. This was like months ago. I found out about NoFap months ago. And you just watch some of these guys online as they get to like day 10 or day 20, like they've never done it in their lives. And I totally understand that. Before, when I was in my 20s, there's no way I could last 5 days. And they talk about how it just changes everything in their life. They talk about almost like a spiritual awakening. Like they talk about all of a sudden all the women notice them and stuff. And I think, you know, there's tons that we don't see. There's pheromones, there's energy. And yeah, I think if you're depleted, like women are very connected. That's one thing I know for sure. Jerry, Ben. And they sense a lot of this stuff. So it makes total sense if you haven't been ejaculating, that they can sense that and they see you as a... So Jerry, the Chihuahua, attacked some people again. Not attacked, but started barking and made all the other dogs go crazy. Like I said, he's a troublemaker, but I got him under control pretty quick this time. So yeah, that's basically it. Everything we've been taught, again, is all wrong. Yeah, look into all this stuff. Like I said, look into Tantra, look into Multi-Orgasmic Man, look into NoFap for sure. NoFap, just check out some of these guys. Really funny to watch them. And yeah, that is our life force, that is our energy. And we've been taught or told by the culture just to destroy all that. And so look into yourself. Whoa, my dogs are going crazy. I better go. Peace.